Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Let's begin with security matters. The National Security Adviser Nuhu Ribadu has announced that President Bola Tinubu has signed a bill establishing the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. Ribadu, represented by the Director of External Affairs at the Office of the National Security Adviser, Ibrahim Babani, shared this update at a workshop on gender mainstreaming in preventing the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria and the West African sub-region held on Tuesday in Abuja. The workshop was organized by the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons. The NSA highlighted that the president's answer to the bill marks a significant step in the government's efforts to combat the proliferation of illegal arms. Five suspected notorious gun runners have been arrested by Operation Safe Haven Delta Force and troops of Sector 1 in Plateau State during a raid of their hideout following an intelligence-driven operation in the state. News Center's Chizoba Anyowe tells us more.
That was the arrival of the suspects, alleged to have indulged in the illegal possession and use of firearms and ammunition in Plateau State. It is their activities that give sleepless nights to members of the public. This makes it more worrisome that such calibers of arms and ammunition are still in the wrong hands. The recovered arms and live ammunition include 2 AK-47 rifles, 1 Fabric National automatic rifle, 14 AK-47 magazines, 1 Fabric National magazine, 5,316 rounds of 7.62 millimeter special, 98 rounds of 7.62 millimeters NATO, and 43 rounds of 9 millimeters.
Troops of Operation Safe Haven, in pursuance of one of its core mandates of mopping up illegal arms and ammunition in the joint operation areas, arrested 5 notorious gun runners and recovered arms and ammunition in an intelligence-driven operation carried out in Plateau State. In an operation that lasted from midnight of 16 September 2024 to the early hours of 17 September 2024, Operation Safe Haven Delta Force and Sector 1 troops raided the hideout of a gun runner identified as Mohammed Sani at Naraguta mining area in Bayamani, along Bauchi Road in Jos North local government area of Plateau State.
The media and information officer is convinced that the military will deliver more on their mandate if members of the public continue to provide credible information to security agencies.
The suspects are undergoing interrogation for useful intelligence to aid in arresting other members of the syndicate, as well as decimating the gun-running supply chain. Operation Safe Haven commends the good people of Plateau State for furnishing troops with credible information leading to the arrest of the gun runners and recovery of arms and ammunition.
If operations such as this continue to gain momentum, then there will be more trust in the Nigerian military in combating insurgency in the country. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
Many thanks, Chizoba. To give more insight on this, we're joined by Commissioner of Information and Communication Plateau State, Musa Ashims. Musa, thank you for giving us your time. How will this recovery of arms influence ongoing efforts to combat illegal arms proliferation in Plateau State?
We want to salute the gallantry of our armed forces, of our security, of our military, for clamping down on this cache of ammunition by non-state actors. It is going to reignite the hope that our people have in the security. It's going to serve as a deterrent to evildoers, to criminals, to bandits, and people that have these gun running syndicates and cartels. So we are happy that this has happened. Plateau people are happy with the security, with this development, and it is going to reignite our hope in the fight against insecurity in Nigeria. You see, when non-state actors have this cache of ammunitions in their possessions, you know that they are going to wield um, poverty, they're going to kill people, they're going to spill blood, they're going to either sell it to non-state actors or even use it to cause mayhem or to spill blood on the plateau. In the past, we will see a situation where people get killed and we begin to count our losses. We begin to say 17 villages have been attacked, this number of persons were killed. But you see, this is proactivism, this is intelligence at work. And these are the kind of report we would like to have, not the ones that after people must have been killed, then we come on air to speak. So it's better for us to know that there is security, there's intelligence, these people were tracked, and they were caught. And of course, they have been paraded. We are waiting for their arraignment. Plateau people will be happy to see how this ends, to see how these people will be prosecuted. You know, these kind of ammunitions in some armories, maybe you will not even find them. But here you have non-state actors with this kind of ammunition. It is dangerous. So we are happy with this development. As a government and people on the plateau, we are very, very excited with this development.
As a government as well, what are the security operatives telling you about the key findings from the debriefing and post-operation analysis and how this finding will inform future operations?
We have a robust relationship with the security on the plateau. It's not everything, it's not every information that you have that you divulge to the general public. We prefer to have achievements like this. We prefer to record this kind of arrest so that we can sleep with our eyes closed. And people outside Plateau will know that, yes, there's security on the Plateau, and Plateau is overripe for development, is overripe for investment. Once evildoers like this are arrested, a lot of signals will be sent to others too that have the mind of doing this. That's why we want to have and give a 21 gun salute to Major General Abubakar and his team, and of course all the security architecture of Plateau State for this wonderful achievement. You would have only but imagined the kind of bloodletting we're going to have if these people are allowed to continue with this racketeering, with this syndicate, with this cartel. It's quite unfortunate that even amongst those that were paraded, we saw a woman. If you know, women are supposed to be like the key custodians of our society. But once they begin to engage themselves in this kind of nefarious and evil act, then you have a lot of things to worry about. This is supposedly a mother, someone's daughter, or someone's wife, and you're engaged in this kind of stuff. This is dangerous business. I don't think people should be engaged in this. What kind of orientation do you have?
Well, while this is a good development, I believe there is still work to be done to enhance the security in Plateau State. But that's all the time we have for now. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me. Our government and governor will continue to support security agencies to fish out these evil people. Go to the state.
Thank you. All right. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has appointed Ojukaye Amakri as the new Director of Energy Security in the Office of the National Security Adviser. The appointment was announced in a statement by ONSA's Head of Strategic Communication, Zakari Mijinyawa, I beg your pardon. He described the appointment as part of government's commitment to ensuring a stable, sustainable and secure energy supply for the country. The statement says the move underscores the president's focus on bolstering energy security and addressing supply chain issues. Amakri will work closely with various stakeholders, including government ministries, security agencies, energy sector regulators, international partners and community leaders to implement solutions to Nigeria's energy challenges. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has extended his condolences to the Tijaniya movement in Nigeria following the death of 40 members in an auto crash on Sunday. Several others sustained injuries in the accident. The victims were traveling from Kwandari in Plateau State to attend a celebration in Saminaka, Kaduna State, when their bus collided with a truck. Tinubu expressed sympathy to the families of the deceased, the injured, and the governments of Kaduna and Plateau states. The president prayed for the repose of the souls of those who lost their lives. He also directed the Federal Road Safety Commission to enhance highway monitoring efforts to reduce the frequency of road accidents across the country. Now, residents of Mpape in the Buari Area Council of Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory say that they have been gripped by fear following a series of earth tremors that rocked the area for the last 3 consecutive days. Some of them say that the incident, which started on Saturday, has become a cause for worry as buildings within the area experienced vibrations during the tremors. News Center's Joshua Imarayi tells us more.
Mpape community is located at the Buari Area Council of Abuja. The community, which is located on a rocky terrain and surrounded by metamorphic rocks, has experienced earth tremors since Saturday, a situation that continued into the early hours of Tuesday.
We really surprised what happened yesterday, I'm telling you. Because the way the ground even shake, we think say Abuja won't collapse. That's what we were experiencing yesterday, honestly. Like 2 times. The thing do like that for the Mpape here.
This ground shaking, it has happened before. So even if we had cream for ground, it's normal. Maybe it's an outsider that company will be afraid of it. It's normal.
The district head of the area says the tremors are not new as the community has experienced similar incidents in the past.
This thing had happened before, about 5 years ago. The same thing happened this year, where we had it yesterday. That time when it happened, government sent some officials to check the area to know what is going on there. And I seen that the same thing, government will send people to know what is going on there. Because formally it's not happened. Last 5 years ago, it never happened here. And this year again, it happened. That time, it shake. Everybody is aware. Government they have to send the agents to come down here and check the area. They didn't say anything, but they observe everything what is going on there. They didn't give all feedback.
The tremors being witnessed in Mpape and surrounding FCT areas have put many residents on edge. Some of them are calling on authorities of the FCT administration to swiftly intervene and prevent a much larger disaster. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarayi.
If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. President Tinubu signs bill to set up Center for Weapons Control. NLC, Abure-led National Working Committee rejects new faction. River State Governor suspends Akukutori Local Government Caretaker Chairman. Committee Chairman. Malians react to military airport attack claimed by terrorist group. Glad to know you're still with us. The River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has suspended Otonye Briggs, the chairman of the caretaker committee for Akukutori Local Government. Chief Press Secretary to the governor, Nelson Chukwudi, announced the suspension on Tuesday. The statement said Briggs' suspension is effective immediately, though no reason was provided. This move comes 3 months after the governor inaugurated the chairpersons for the caretaker committee across the 23 local government areas of the state, following the conclusion of the 3-year tenure of the previous elected council officials. Opposition is growing against the emergence of Kalistas as the factional national chairman of the Labour Party. In separate interviews, LP's National Secretary Umar Farouk and the Deputy President of the Nigeria Labour Congress Political Commission, Theophilus Ndubuaka, disowned Okafor and his faction, while the spotlight has been on the rift between the Julius Abure-led National Working Committee and a 29-member caretaker committee headed by former Minister Nenadi Usman. Okafor took the opportunity to announce his faction's presence. Staying with Labour matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reaffirmed that Julius Abure's term as Labour Party National Chairman ended in June 2024. This statement comes in response to LP's lawsuit challenging its exclusion from INEC's training for party agents ahead of the Edo and Ondo governorship elections. INEC has declared Labour Party's leadership, including Abure, as invalid and does not recognize the party's March 2024 National Convention, which purportedly re-elected Abure. The Commission argues that the convention breached the Constitution and Electoral Act and maintains it only engages with parties having valid leadership. INEC is urging the court to dismiss Labour Party's suit, emphasizing that the March 2024 convention did not comply with legal and regulatory standards. Away from politics, the Lagos State government has threatened to demolish 280 illegal structures to forestall the creation of slums, distortion of the Lagos State master plan and erosion of the state coastal area. A statement by the Commissioner for Waterfront Infrastructure Development on Tuesday said notices have been issued to the owners and occupiers in the Mayegun waterfront scheme, located in the Etiosa local government area of the state. The Commissioner said the conservation notices required the occupants to provide relevant documentation and approvals that justify their occupation of the properties in question within 7 days of the notice, failure of which a demolition notice will be served on them. The over 280 properties, which included completed, under construction and underdeveloped lands, were found to be without any government papers authorizing their construction after a detailed technical assessment of the Mayegun waterfront scheme. Wife of the president and national chairman of the Renewed Hope Initiative, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has charged Nigerian women to use the opportunity provided by technology to rewrite the narratives portraying the country in a bad light, contrary to its true national value. Tinubu gave the charge while declaring open a 2-day Women in Tech Skills training for women entrepreneurs in the South-South region, organized by the Renewed Hope Initiative at the African Center for Excellence, University of Port Harcourt, on Tuesday.
The Renewed Hope Initiative believes that every woman here have great potentials. I therefore urge you to build more frontiers for networking with global women in tech movements, skills building initiatives, and also foster new areas of mentorship for the younger generation of women interested in tech development. When you do this, rest assured that you would have built the future of e-governance business and championed the cause a new positive thinking, tech service generation of Nigerians on all fronts. Indeed, looking at your faces, I see a greater determination to make this training count. And I assure you that this effort will not be in vain. I'm equally excited for you and for the future that you are about.
As primary and secondary schools in Nigeria commence the beginning of a new season, a new session, conversations surrounding curriculum development is being brought to the fore again by educators, while the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council has introduced competency-based curriculum frameworks to equip students with the skills and knowledge required to succeed in the 21st century. Educators highlight some of the challenges the country's curriculum is faced with. News Center's Omolola Ololade tells us more in this report.
English language, mathematics, social studies, basic science and technology are core subjects that make up the Nigerian primary educational curriculum. Although this primary school curriculum plays a vital role in shaping young minds and laying the foundation for future learning, some students express their optimism in learning new subjects and relevant skills, particularly at primary school level.
I would like cooking to be a subject because I like cooking.
I love English. It's my best subject. Tailor, baking, cooking.
Creating standards within the curriculum remains pivotal for educational quality, especially as it provides educators with a roadmap for designing effective lesson plans, assessing student progress, and identifying areas of improvement.
We do a review of our curriculum every term. We don't just teach a topic this term and teach the next term. We do a review and we make sure that the children are learning something new. We don't just focus on just Nigeria curriculum alone. We go outside because we're raising innovative leaders for global influence.
We try to make use of e-learning to improve the standard of education of our students. So with this exposure, it also makes them to be advanced. We try to introduce some new ideas, some teaching cultures that will improve the standard of the curriculum also for the betterment of the students.
There is no doubt that the primary school curriculum has undergone several revisions by the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council over the years to align with changing societal needs and global educational trends. However, despite the curriculum's critical role, numerous challenges and issues hinder its effectiveness, impacting the quality of education nationwide.
You find out that children overseas are very concrete. They have enough materials to explore. That's something that we don't have enough of in Nigeria. So you see the children, they're learning, there are no resources for them. They're teaching them home economics. There's no practical. They're teaching them agriculture, and agriculture is just staying in the classroom. They're teaching them about sports, and it's just on the board. There are no practicals to that. So the measurement is, how is this curriculum, how is this content going to be relevant for the children in a way that they can make use of it?
For years, the curriculum has served as a blueprint guiding teachers, parents, and policymakers in crafting a holistic experience for children. Hence, the need for policymakers to continue to prioritize curriculum development. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Many thanks, Omolola. Players in the real estate sector in Nigeria have called for investment-friendly policies from the government to allow ease of doing business and affordable housing in the country amidst rising deficit. Industry stakeholders made this call at the ongoing Real Estate Discussion and Award Conference 2024, which brought together industry leaders and professionals to tackle pressing challenges and explore opportunities in the sector. News Center's Adeshawa Udushoga tells us more.
The Real Estate Discussion and Award, one of the real estate conferences in Nigeria that brings together top investors, developers, operators, and professionals from the private and government sector. The conference in its 5th edition presents a platform where players in the sector bring to the table thought-provoking conversations, challenges, and project execution, exchange ideas, and propose solutions as it affects the running of their businesses. The 2024 conference is focusing on navigating challenge in real estate for a new era and how both players in the public and private sectors can collaborate on investment-friendly policies.
Let us challenge conventional thinking, explore innovative ideas, and work collaboratively to create solutions that meet the evolving demand of the future.
The changes we are witnessing, from technological advancements to shifting market dynamics and an increasing emphasis on sustainability, are fundamentally reshaping the future of the built environment.
Investment is the thing that will guarantee job creation, wealth creation, income distribution. Investment for the future starts now.
Real estate is better placed to offer inflation protection.
The panel sessions were also graced by key managers of top real estate companies, focusing on issues like the role of real estate in institutional and investment portfolios, and housing, cost of living, and its social impact.
We've realized that there's still changes. How do we navigate these changes? After identifying that, things are now different, how do you navigate them in a new era? And that's what we've decided to talk about.
There is a lot more that would happen in that space going forward, especially with the players that we're seeing in the market now.
To make it better, we still need to see a lot of public-private partnership, right? We still need some support from the government on their policies, right? A lot of their policies, they really affect us as developers,
Like its previous editions, the Real Estate Discussion and Awards Conference organized by Think Mint Nigeria has provided platforms for players in the real estate sector to network and collaborate, as well as celebrate outstanding performances for the year. It also features exhibition that allows participants showcase their product and investment opportunities. In Lagos for News Central, Adeshawa Odushoga.
Members of the Albinism Association of Nigeria have drawn the attention of the media to the national albinism policy, which they frowned at its non-implementation in the past 5 years and its attendant consequences on their members. The national policy is a comprehensive framework drafted in 2019 to address the unique challenges faced by persons with albinism in Nigeria. News Central's Bernard Kede was at the media parley and compiled this report.
For many years, persons with albinism have repeatedly been vocal about the kinds of stigma they face in the Nigerian society. While some state governments have been responsive, the group believes a lot more still needs to be done. This neglect has prompted the association to call on the government and appropriate agencies to implement the national albinism policy, which holistically addresses majority of the association's complaints if implemented.
It's albinism in our country. Things that in that policy which the federal government is supposed to do have not been done. For example, they're supposed to set up an albinism center for us in Abuja, where we are supposed to go and explain our challenges, our plight, where we'll be attended to. We are supposed to be given treatment in the hospital, where we check our skin because the sun, the ultraviolet rays of the sun really affect us.
Media session we had today was just to bring up media houses, both print, electronic, the new media, all together in one room, and bring up a discourse concerning the national policy on albinism. We've had this policy for 5 years now, and it's about running out. The term of the policy is about running out, and is to bring up the discourse and bring it to the doorstep of the stakeholders and government. Not so much had been done concerning that policy in the area of health, education, welfare of persons with albinism.
The association opined that if this policy had been implemented, several persons with albinism would have had better lives by now, and the right awareness would have further spread around the country.
Not being taken across has affected the opportunities available to people with albinism, has affected children in their upbringing because some children have grown up right now with stigmatization.
Several erroneous myths are still being spread about persons with albinism, which sometimes lead to attacks or harm of such persons, even death. The association is of the view that with the help of the media, this can stop.
People think they can use a person with albinism for ritual. Like the first thing that comes to their mind when they see a person with albinism is to use them for ritual. And another thing is, they think, some people misunderstand that albinism is a genetic condition. Some think is hereditary. Some think is a curse.
We still have a bit of time. We could still get some things done in the area of health, in the area of education. We can still have 1, 2, 3. It's just for them to have the willpower. After this, we'll start calling them out.
The hope is that through the media, the voices of the association will be amplified and the policy attended to. In Lagos for News Central, I'm Bernard Akede.
In a move to deepen discussions on economic growth and development in Nigeria, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group is looking to partner with News Central for the upcoming 30th Nigerian Economic Summit. This was made known during a courtesy visit by the executive team to the News Central headquarters in Lagos. My colleague Lekon Onobanjo tells us more in this report.
Nigeria's economy is facing significant challenges, including a hostile business environment, rising unemployment, inflation, poverty, and financial instability. For decades, foremost economic think tank, The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has been known to offer some of the needed policy direction for the government through its annual Nigerian Economic Summit, which draws some of the brightest minds to brainstorm on various subject matters. Ahead of this year's edition of the gathering, a delegation from the NESG pays a courtesy call on News Central Television to explore ways of partnering to promote discussions aimed at improving Nigeria's economic situation.
I'm not surprised at the kind of passion we're expressing about commitment to work with us beyond the transaction to begin something that should be long-lasting and highly impactful between News Central and NESG. I will not be surprised. We can make it happen.
The delegation received by the executive management of News Central, led by its managing director, Kayode Akintemi, emphasizes the station's readiness for the collaboration.
My expectation is that this is going to be something that will endure. I'm not looking for one season or 3 months relationship just to do an economic summit for this year. I'm looking at the long haul, the long term, how we make sure that when you think of the summits, you remember what has happened on the News Central Television.
NESG's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tayo Aduluju, goes down memory lane, highlighting the group's cardinal objectives, which he says are hinged on democracy, the rule of law, governance, and a commitment to an enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
30 years ago, we were at an inflection point. What you call the Washington Consensus reforms, which IMF structural adjustment program, had wreaked havoc in the African economy. I am now dealing with massive macroeconomic volatility of a scale where the macro pass-through risks on markets, households, and individuals has created a cost of business crisis and a cost of living crisis.
The NESG also stresses its commitment to establishing a long-lasting relationship beyond the summit with News Central Television in ensuring economic issues and empirical solutions remain at the forefront of national discourse.
We are undaunted, we are not frustrated. We believe that we can achieve more through effective collaborations, partnerships across different segments, different levels, and it would pay us more. It is even greater inclusion because together we can do much more.
This kind of project is one that I will say we have to invest everything. And that's because I know the state of the economy of Nigeria. We always insist that we have to have our finger on the pulse of the nation.
As Nigeria continues to explore ways of resolving its critical economic challenges, the partnership between NESG and News Central Television offers a beacon of hope to ignite a spark that will propel the nation towards economic prosperity, social justice, and sustainable development. In Lagos for News Central, Lekon Onobanjo.
The news continues in West Africa, where residents of the Malian capital Bamako shared their views and accounts on an attack on a military airport and training center claimed by the JNIM group, an Al-Qaeda affiliate. The terrorist group said that a special operation targeted the military airport and the training center of the Malian gendarmes in the center of the Malian capital at dawn. Heavy exchanges of fire took place early afternoon near the police station controlling access to the civilian airport terminal. Earlier, Mali's army said the situation was under control after what it called a foiled infiltration attempt by terrorists into a military police base.
Don moto bouger ça non moto bo station non kata moto la jo parking na ya famia don an bala mina tuguni kisaba ka ci alsa kisaba ka ci an bala tuguni ga bom fene manga metu non a jugara an bala mina ran foro bana do police bulu bulu la kana kanga ta ka boy an bare ku me dinga kono we mo munu bo dinga kono c'est toro we mo munu bo dinga kono ali we munu jeni ka bo sotro ma kono c'est toro marfaw de bu cela ya dinga kono ga marfaw de bu ga bore kono ya
dinga kɔnɔ na ya yɔrɔ na u bɛɛ la bɔ sɔrɔ an ka sɔrɔ siw bɛɛ minɛ a ma ban fɔlɔ dɛ an bɛna kan bɔ in yɛrɛ kɔrɔ ta k'a lawuli sisan.
Let's join our business team for today's updates.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Nigeria is grappling with the effects of a global coffee crisis as futures prices increased by over 30% due to severe drought conditions in Brazil, the leading Arabica coffee producer. In 2024, coffee prices in Nigeria have doubled, with some brands seeing significant increases. The rainfall deficit in Brazil has led to a sharp decline in coffee production, prompting a worldwide scramble for supplies. This surge in U.S. coffee futures and Arabica futures has further impacted Nigerian market, exacerbated by inflation and rising raw material costs. Experts suggest improved agricultural practices to combat climate change's effects on coffee production. In the meantime, the Central Bank of Nigeria has confirmed that its Ways and Means advances to the federal government will remain capped at 5% for the fiscal year between 2024 and 2025. This decision, outlined in the recently released Monetary, Credit, Foreign Trade and Exchange Policy Guidelines, allows the CBN to provide short-term financing to address budget deficits, with the requirement that these advances be repaid within the year. The CBN emphasized that the advances will be calculated based on the sub-accounts of various ministries linked to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. This announcement comes amid discussions in the legislature to potentially increase the limit to 10%, a move that has raised concerns about inflation and excess liquidity in the economy. Finally, South African consumer confidence soared in the third quarter, reaching pre-pandemic levels and signaling positive prospects for household spending. A quarterly index compiled by First Rand's First National Bank and Stellenbosch University's Bureau for Economic Research rose to -5 from -10 in the previous quarter, marking the highest reading since early 2019. The Household Finances Sub-Index surged to 14 from 8, the best since late 2021, reflecting improved optimism, particularly among higher-income households. Factors contributing to these boosts include a new governing coalition, enhanced electricity supply, lower inflation, and a stronger rand. Additionally, expectations of an interest rate cut by the central bank amid slowing inflation further support this optimistic outlook. And that's all on business news. I am Lekon Onobanjo.
And in sport, the third edition of the Dambe tournament tagged Super Fight 3 was held at the Velodrome of the Abuja National Stadium over the weekend. In two highly anticipated bouts, Russian Denis Sherenich and Mateusz Rizak made their debut. Competing in the heavyweight division, Sherenich lost his bout to Dogo Shegia Motard, while Rizak, also known as the White Mamba, defeated Daniello. Speaking afterwards, Rizak gave credit to his opponent for giving him a baptism of fire in the ancient Hausa martial art.
He was younger. I was treated like a king. I am sure that he had harder time than I did. So I think the biggest winner of tonight is this young man who fought me, because he gave me a school. I had to learn. In the first round, I had to learn from him. How good was he, because I couldn't see his punches. But even though I did so much, it was still hard.
And now to table tennis. The intense rivalry between Africa's top tennis nations, Egypt and Nigeria, will be reignited at the 2024 ITTF African Championships. The prestigious event will take place in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia from October 12th to 19th. Serving as qualifiers for the 2024 ITTF Mixed Team Cup in China and the 2025 World Championships in Qatar, the tournament will feature top teams and regional champions competing in 2 events and 5 individual events. The tournament returns to Ethiopia for the first time in 24 years. Reigning champions Egypt will face fierce competition from Akwa Ibom, Nigeria, along with strong contenders like Tunisia and Algeria. And out to athletics, Kenyan athletics' battle against doping has suffered a serious blow which could result in it being banned from international competitions due to budget cuts that have halted all testing, its anti-doping agency said on Tuesday. The anti-doping agency of Kenya says it was allocated only $155,000 to run a day-to-day programs for the financial year starting in July, far below the expected $2.2 million. And to wrap up sports update, Aston Villa marked their return to the top level of European club competition for the first time in over 40 years with a dominant 3-0 victory in the UEFA Champions League opener away against sweet side Young Boys. Unai Emery's team took time to settle on the artificial surface in Bern, but went in front through Yuri Telemans, who finished off a well-worked corner routine with a driven finish into the far corner. Villa were gifted a second by some calamitous defending from the home side, with Oli Watkins intercepting Mohamed Ali Kamara's pass towards goalkeeper David Vaughan, Bolmus and Jacob Ramsey firing in off the inside of the post. Amadou Onana's low effort put the seal on a comfortable evening for every side. And that wraps it up on Sports Update and Favor Itwa.
And it's a wrap tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the key stories. President Tinubu has signed a bill to set up Center for Weapons Control. NLC, Abure-led National Working Committee, rejects new faction. Rivers State Governor has suspended Akukutoru LG Caretaker Committee Chairman. We also brought you news that Malians have reacted to military airport attack claimed by terrorist group. To send your eyewitness reports to the number showing now on your screen, or you can follow us on social media to do that at News Central TV. You can watch News Central TV live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and on YouTube. As always, thank you very much for your kind company. Have a good night rest.